Devil in a red dress. Call 911, I'm a killer. You know I hate to confess. Bang, bang, got my hand on the trigger. The devil in a
Hello, Trabant.
Hello, Tito. What's
Oh.
new in China?
Well, I wanted to ask how you're doing, but we can see that it's been an interesting week in the news. Again for China. Not global news this time, but a little more local. Have you heard about the report that a couple of U.S. citizens of Chinese origin got arrested in the United States?
Really? What for? I wonder.
My oh my. Well, there were several charges, three different charges, but we can get to that later. The point is, this all has to do with the Chinese police stations that were set up.
Okay, this is a short video from Vayan.
And obstruction of justice. According to the prosecutors, Lu and Chen led a non-profit organization that lists its mission as providing a social gathering place for people from China's Fujian province. In fact, their New York operation occupied a full floor in a nondescript building in Chinatown near the Manhattan Bridge. Before it closed in the fall of 2022, the site was being used, at the very least, quote unquote, for government services, like helping some Chinese citizens renew their driver's licenses. It was also used for more, quote unquote, sinister activities. In fact, in 2022, Lu helped open the so-called police station. He was asked by China's government to locate an individual living in California who was considered a pro-democracy activist. In 2018, Lu had sought to persuade an individual considered a fugitive by China to return home. Prosecutors said Lu and Chen admitted to the FBI that they deleted their communications with a Chinese government official. And the FBI director has gone to the extent of telling a US Senate committee in November that he was very concerned about the presence of such stations in US cities. So what does China have to say about this? Well, no surprises. It says it's up to nothing wrong. The Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Wang Wenbin has disputed US claims of a Chinese secret police station in New York. According to Wang, China maintains a policy of non-interference in other countries, and these alleged police stations do not exist. Let me repeat, according to him, China maintains a policy of non-interference in other countries. What a joke, right? A policy of non-interference and China don't quite sit well in the same sentence, do they?
Yeah.
I like the cover story. How these so-called service centers were set up to help Chinese citizens renew their driver's licenses.
Yeah, how nice of them, how they are trying to help their Chinese citizens to settle down in abroad and feel like home, so that what do you need here? How can you feel better? Well, how about driving license? Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
right. We already have Lounge Lamian in in the building in questions. Why not put an extra police station there? That'll make you feel more like home.
Yeah, yeah. This just excuse. I think
Obviously.
lame excuse. Just a lame excuse. Yeah. Why do you think they don't operate directly from the embassy? Why do they need to rent extra place, whole floor in Chinatown to operate? Why can't they work from the embassy?
Well, that is a good question. You mean like the Russians have been operating
Yeah.
with the spy oftentimes being the diplomat in the press section.
Yeah, all 300 people working from home.
Yeah, 300 press attaches. I think
Yeah.
this is it's an almost a comical attempt of China to deflect the blame, because this way the central government can say, well, this is not our policy. These were some low service centers for overseas Chinese operated by municipal police forces.
Or the activities are not exactly legal, so they are basically hiding.
Yes.
They don't want to see, they don't want to get monitored, they don't want to be followed, they don't want let's say American police to know where they go, who they meet, who they go to blackmail that day, or who they bring over to brainwash or train. Yeah,
Well,
I
let's
believe.
face it. Any country is very sensitive about some foreign forces operating on their grounds, so it might have been very difficult to get some agreements to operate these kind of service centers all around the world.
Yeah, you mean like police patrols who operate in Italy, Croatia, Serbia, or maybe in Ireland?
Yeah, this
Yeah,
this
but
this was a thing. I already found this very funny when I first saw this. This was maybe in 2016, but yeah, I naively dismissed it as okay. Well, they wanted to have a trip. The Carabinieri wanted to see the Great Wall, and the Chinese
right.
police officers who want to visit the Colosseum. But
Yeah,
obviously, there's a little more behind this than simply
yeah. I
helping the
was always
Chinese tourists
thinking
out.
they want to increase the tourism. They want to show the Chinese tourists that you are safe here. We have our own police here in case you have there's some language barrier
And
problem.
there are
So we have
still some videos on YouTube where you can see a Chinese lady being interviewed, and she said, "Oh, I feel much better now that I see Chinese police officers here as well." Maybe she was worried the Italian police will not understand them.
yeah, maybe rightfully worried, especially if she doesn't speak Italian or English.
Yes.
Yeah, so that makes sense. But these secret police stations are illicit. They don't have any permission. These people didn't ask to get registered as foreign agents to get a permission, and even probably they wouldn't get a permission anyway. So they are breaking the law,
Yeah, well, imagine
right?
how long it would take to get all these things sorted out, possibly registered, possibly not. Let's just try it and see how it goes. You know. So this is where we are now.
Imagine situation that NYPD would open a secret police station in Beijing. What would happen to them?
And
What would happen to
employ a couple of Chinese nationals to work for them on their behalf.
Yeah, Americans that meanwhile became Chinese citizens working for them. These people would disappear and nobody would ever hear about them again.
No,
Ever.
no question about it. You know, China would very quickly handle them according to their laws. Would file, would open up whatever cases it could against them.
Yeah. But look, they know about this police station, about most of them. They know where they are. Not most of them, not all of them. And they are still operating. They don't close them up. They don't raid them as they did to this Manhattan secret police station. By the way, this police station got closed.
Uh-huh.
Got closed like 4 months ago. After 4 months got raided. Why? Why so? Why don't they close all of them at once?
I need to. I think they want to have some kind of a precedent to move against all of them at once. Maybe they didn't. I don't think they know how to handle this. They don't want to. They don't want to make China angry by moving against them too overtly. They would be hoping that China will sort of get the message and try to refrain from doing these things in the future.
Or they are afraid of retaliation. Maybe they are afraid that China would arrest some Americans living in mainland China, just fabricating a case against them.
Because we have we have seen these things happening before, even though these are more
Yeah.
high-profile cases, like in the case of the Huawei CEO, Mrs. Wang. While she was being detained in Canada, there were more, maybe 3 or 4 Canadians being detained in China.
Two Michaels, yeah.
Two
were
Michaels, but
detained.
there was another. I think there was another one being detained, and another one was in China on a drug charge, and he tried to appeal, and he got a higher sentence.
Unbelievable.
He got a death sentence as a result of the appeal. So-
In China, never appeal. Never appeal. Even if you get that sentence, if you appeal, probably you get quartered and hanged and burned
This is
as an addition punishment. Yep. And yeah, it was also funny when China denied there was any connection between the Huawei and arresting of these 2 Canadians.
oh, of course not, right?
Uh,
Completely different cases. What was
Oh,
funny
completely
though was that they were the 2 Michaels were released. I think on the same day that one woman was sent back to China.
I think the planes were flying over each other, over Pacific.
Already in the air, yeah.
The same moment, there were like 2 people, like the Bridge of Spies movie, when the Russians were exchanging spies with the Americans on the bridge at the same time, same moment. This is exactly what happened in this case. They were released the same moment. Somebody called, yeah, they're on the plane now. Yeah, we are taking off. Yeah, we are in the air. Yeah, we are out of Chinese space. This is what was happening during the whole flight, I believe. Wow. Yeah, the Bridge of Spies. Unbelievable. Yeah, so what do these secret police stations do except helping Chinese citizens with obtaining American driving license?
Well, the real reason why most of these were set up, aside from the tourist ones, was that several years ago there were some cases. You can see this in the Chinese media of scammers operating from countries close to China, but obviously not in China, and they will be trying to scam Chinese people into sending them money. So what must have happened was a Chinese who got scammed would naturally call the Chinese police and try to file a case, and the police would have to tell them, well, sorry, they're in Myanmar or in Cambodia, and there's nothing we can do. And if you think about how the Chinese government works, they respond to the pressures that people make on them. So if
Right.
there were more high-profile cases like this, maybe at some point the government or even the local authorities, they would have to at least appear to try to do something about it. So they would try to pressure these people into coming back to China for trial or for whatever reason. If they were unsuccessful with that, then they would try to pressure their family members if they could, and so forth. Now, obviously, the problem with authoritarian and totalitarian regimes is that they use the same methods that they use for solving real crimes into pressuring political dissidents.
Right. Except the methods are illegal, and these people are just dissidents living abroad.
Oh, absolutely.
Freedom fighter dissidents. Yeah. Like I heard about how these Chinese secret police officers are impersonating the people by booking hotels or by making fake bomb threats at luxury hotels or embassies in America, blaming it on these dissidents.
Wow. That sounds very naive, because this will obviously be exposed
It is
in
exposed, but
in one investigation or another.
yeah, probably it is, but I don't know if they are really thinking that it has any effect, because if I was the dissident, I would just become even more resilient. I would even become angry. I would start fighting harder
And
against
luckily,
this
I think
regime.
we are seeing this. I don't know if what the backstory is with these two guys, but there were probably some people in the U.S. were complaining. I remember there was a case. I think it was in the Netherlands some time ago, where a Chinese, basically a dissident in Europe, was being harassed by some Chinese agents, and basically he called the police on them. Right? They agreed to meet
Right.
at a certain location, and he called the police there. So
Uh-huh.
obviously, this it did not work.
Right.
But I'm worried that not everybody will take because this is the correct takeaway from this. I'm just worried not everybody will understand that the local authorities in different countries, they are going to help you if you encounter some kind of pressure from China. But this is what this is what you have to do. You have to talk to the authorities and tell them, well, I'm
Yeah, every
being
country is
harassed
different. Yeah, yeah.
by
I believe in
Chinese agents.
some country the police would go like, well, unless they do something to you, we can't do anything. If you have any proof or anything, just bring it over, and then we'll see what we can do about it.
Yeah, you have a point.
Anyway, there is no doubt. Okay, here I have a Global Times. Here is a video made by who?
And
Hu Xijin?
who is who?
Who is?
Please tell me
Hu
who is
Xijin?
who.
Who is Hu Xijin? Who is the party secretary at the Global Times, which means the highest party leader, Communist Party leader, and journalist working at the Global Times.
Okay, so
What
basically
do you
he is the mouthpiece of the Chinese Communist Party in the Chinese media, or the Chinese media for foreign consumption.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Okay, let's hear what he has to say.
All right.
The U.S. arrested two Chinese Americans in New York City, accusing them of running a secret police station in the Chinese community on behalf of Chinese authorities. Then the State Department said the U.S. is engaged in an extensive effort with international partners to counter Chinese influence operations. This is an entirely American-smear campaign against China. There are many overseas Chinese who live close one to another and have many connections with China. They need some services to obtain documents in China.
Okay, so do they exist, or it's entirely fabrication?
Entirely American fabrication. Like the U.S.
Entirely-
does these things all the time.
Right, of course. But do they do it, or is it just, do they exist just to help their citizens obtaining documents from China, because there are so many of them living together, so they cannot find any other way how to obtain the documents from China.
So first,
there are so many of them, and they are not helpful. They are not helping each other.
First, they don't exist. If they exist, then they're supposed to help the overseas Chinese and where they live in a large area.
I didn't do it, but if I did it, they deserve it. Yeah,
Well, then
right, okay.
what do you run a consulate for? I thought they were supposed to do these things. Anyway, so let's
Yeah,
see more of
exactly.
who has to say.
Okay.
In addition, there are crimes committed by overseas Chinese. China is negotiating with some countries to solve the problem and increase the level of service to overseas Chinese.
By some countries means America.
It means wherever, some countries, yeah, it does seem kind of hinted at you.
Some countries could be maybe at least one country, maybe I don't know, maybe the Philippines, and therefore it's also okay in America.
Of
If
course,
the Philippines,
yeah. I mean, there were cases like these happening in Southeast Asia, mostly in Myanmar. I think.
yeah, I know.
But
But it means if one country is okay, it's also okay in America. You know, we can apply.
well, why not? Of course.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense.
If Chinese police officers go abroad to work with the local police, they must have been invited to go, and China will never send police officers abroad to enforce the law in secret.
How
Wow.
does he know?
What a skirt.
How does he know? for
Yeah,
sure?
I don't think he honestly believes that. But he is given a script.
Would you say that? Would you say that CIA would never send anybody abroad to enforce the law?
Well, no, but China would not.
Yeah, China is the exception. China is better. China is better than any other country.
They
Right.
really must get a new script writer. This is
Yeah, it's too simple.
a little naive.
The two people the U.S. arrested in New York are both U.S. citizens. So, how could they run a secret police station?
What's the logic? Where is the logic?
Well, they're
mean,
U.S. So how could they run a Chinese police station?
You don't. Yeah. You don't have to answer. Sorry. I didn't have to stop. That's just such a nonsense. Okay, go on.
The U.S. has built military bases all over the world.
Oh, come on. Here
There we go.
What about this?
That's a beautiful deflection. Well, doesn't China have military bases now as well?
In Somalia, for sure. Yeah, Djibouti, I think.
I mean, maybe not all over the
Yeah, but
world just yet, but what
Well,
China
my connection-
lacks, what China lacks in military bases, they try to make up for in police stations.
Well done. It's working.
Wow.
And I have personally seen U.S. military police enforce law in the streets of Okinawa, Japan by themselves.
That's it.
Wow.
No details.
No,
Okay.
no, why not? He's not going to go for to say that if the U.S. military police is operating them, they are operating there under some kind of an agreement with Japan.
Yeah, definitely. It's nonsense.
And they are the ones who violated other countries' sovereignty. Now, the U.S. is imagining that China is as bad as it is. The U.S. government has made undermining China their main means of competition. They are wrong. What they need is to try to manage their own affairs better.
Would you agree with the
I
last
think this
sentence
is
you
this is a takeaway that we can all agree with. Yes, the U.S. does need to manage its own affairs better and try and figure out a way how to stop and prevent these things from happening in the future.
said? Exactly. In other words, they should close all the places of the secret Chinese police stations right away.
These things
Okay,
are
good
not
idea.
supposed to be allowed to exist.
Well done. Do you remember the case that happened in Manchester about 4 months ago, 5 months ago?
Oh yeah. This is was that when the Chinese consul was trying to pull one of the protesters protesting in front of the consulate into the consulate so that they could beat them up.
No, I think he was pulling him there to help him to obtain the driving license.
Wait. I thought they have don't they have a police station for that?
Apparently they do. Unbelievable. So he personally was participating in this street fight. Consul,
Unbelievable.
Chinese consul in the UK is acting like a thug. And now listen to this.
Graduate of the Beijing University of Foreign
Mr.
Studies.
Zhang denied that he had hit Mr. Chan. Mr. Chan is this guy.
I see. That's a
He
protester.
denied that he hit him. So pulling hair is not hitting. I think that he's not lying. Saying,
Okay.
I didn't beat anybody. I didn't let my people beat anybody. Not true.
Wow.
That's not true. The fact is, the so-called protesters beat my people. But when asked if he had pulled Mr. Chan's hair, he told Sky News, he was abusing my country, my leader. I think it's my duty. So is it? We don't have
Well, which
any
one is it, Mr.
police
Chan?
stations, but it's our duty to have.
But if we do, yeah, it's because of blah blah blah. I mean, what
because
a
we.
bunch of nonsense.
So this is like a lie. In 5 seconds, he just he lied, and then he just pretended that he.
So after
didn't
he
lie.
caught lying, he seems to be really trying to make the best out of it for Chinese audiences. But he was insulting my country and my leader. Notice these things in the same sentence, right? We see a lot of this thing happening. China is trying to crack down on protesters, not just in China, but trying to put the message out that even if you go abroad, you're not gonna be safe.
Yes. China is making big arms, big shoulders. Yeah. Unbelievable. Yeah, and apparently they are running lots of troll farms, not only inside China but also abroad.
This was one of
When
the
they-
one of the cases that has popped up in connection with the police station that got raided in Manhattan, and two people that got arrested as a result. I remember even this was probably more than 15 years ago. There were interviews with these 50-cent commentators, because they got paid half a yuan, half of a Chinese yuan for every comment they made, and they had the typical techniques how to deflect. If there was an article online, what to write, either attack the commentators themselves, write something personal, the kind of usual trolling techniques that people use, except that they were getting paid for it, and they were doing it on behalf of the government. I remember even seeing, if this was really the case, some prisoners in China in the typical shoulder striped jacket, behind the computer, probably writing some comments. I don't know, maybe these were some English speakers, or they might have been good at this, so why not make use of their time?
Yeah, let me add that if I was a Chinese prisoner in Xinjiang, I would be happy if I was chosen for this job.
Right. I mean, this must be much nicer than, I don't know, assembling Christmas lights, like one of the American prisoners was doing there in Guangzhou.
The irony.
The irony,
Christmas lights.
Yes.
Yeah, the irony. So anyway, in this picture, the Chinese consul is pulling this Hong Konger inside the consulate. This poor guy doesn't want to be there. They are pulling him in so they can kill him.
Doesn't seem like the police is trying to drag him out. Doesn't seem like he's the one who's trying to attack the
The
consulate
policeman
staff.
even enters the consulate because they drag him like 3 meters behind the gate.
Right.
And then he's pulling this poor guy out to save his life.
Unbelievable.
Why would they drag him in? What for? Wouldn't you try to close the gate?
If I was getting attacked, I would try to stay in the consulate, not open the gate. Say, come on, come on, protesters,
So who
come
is
inside.
attacking? So who is attacking who? I mean, they are attacking this guy. That's why they are dragging him in instead of closing the gate, and calling the police.
Yes,
To protect him.
they are trying to set an example, choose someone to make an example out of, to try to show to Chinese people abroad that you have to follow whatever China says, or you'll get beaten up.
I think he just made a huge mistake. There was just,
Obviously,
many
this-
Chinese
this-
people are very short-tempered.
Yeah.
They are short-tempered and they just react. And when they react, they just react very aggressively. So there was just a mistake on his side. He doesn't know what he's doing. This is not his job description. This is not what he's supposed to do there.
He must have forgotten he's not in Beijing anymore. He's abroad. He has to behave.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so, yeah. So anyway, after 2 months, China removed these 6 officials, including the consul.
They got sent back. Yeah.
They got sent back because
I think the
They
UK
were-
was
they were
was
armed.
trying to send them a message that if you don't recall these people back home, we're going to declare them persona
Yes.
non grata, and they will have to leave anyway, or we might have to. We might involve them in an investigation. So we will find some ways to make them leave.
and that would be embarrassing. So they did it by themselves, yeah, quickly. Okay, that was clever.
The point is, who's going to come and replace them? Are they going to be similar kinds of people?
Yeah. Maybe somebody from, I don't know, maybe somebody from the Manhattan police station.
They'll shuffle them around.
Yes. Unbelievable. There are also police stations secret police stations in Canada. And I remember when
yeah.
Justin Trudeau, I think he was in the parliament, he said, yes, we know about them. We monitor them and just making sure that none of our citizens, none of our Canadian citizens get harmed by them. That's all. They know about them, but they allow them to operate. Does it make any sense?
No, this is ridiculous. I can. I guess what they're trying to say is they're not. They're giving China time to clean them up, but I'm not sure if this is the message that China is taking away from this.
Okay, so no, definitely not. They don't understand what you by that. They don't understand a friendly poke in their ribs. No, they don't get it. They don't. After this, apparently Trudeau had a private talk with Xi, and after that he told the media that he did bring up this issue of the illegal police stations. Apparently that's all he
Oh, sorry.
said.
So he did talk about it, yeah.
Yeah, he said they talk about it.
The
That's all.
question is how
They talk about
did
it.
China respond? It's one thing to bring something up in a discussion. It's another thing entirely to see if that does the job.
Well, this is G20 in Bali when it was in January.
So he
When
brought
she-
it up there, yeah.
Yeah, when she when they just meet each other off the stage, and I didn't see the beginning, but maybe just Trudeau wanted to say hi
Ah, okay.
and just to have a friendly chit chat, and Xi Jinping in front of the camera just fired at Trudeau his grievances
Wow.
that he let's watch this.
All right, let's see. Ah, that's not appropriate.
Yeah. Tell me, if you have a problem like this, somebody leaks something, wouldn't you want to talk to this person in private?
Right.
Or would you want to... What's the point of embarrassing him in public
No,
like this? Is he not thinking at all?
yeah, it's
You know, you know, My opinion is like
It's
Xi Jinping.
weird.
His favorite food is pork, and he goes to Bali. I know that Bali is a Buddhist island, but Indonesia, who is
Muslim,
country,
yeah.
Muslim country, they have no pork, right? So he's just walking around looking for pork to eat.
But
And then-
there's
sorry, no
nothing around. God, he must be upset. And then Trudeau comes
And-
over and wants to bother him. Come on.
And just Trudeau just appears out of nowhere.
How
And-
inappropriate.
Yes, and he just fires at him.
They should have subtitled Trudeau as well.
Yeah, sorry.
They should have subtitled Trudeau as well. But he wanted to he this is what he wanted to talk about. He wanted to talk about the police stations. Yeah.
Yes. Did you hear that? What did he say?
Oh yeah, wait, yeah. He when he's going off camera, he does mutter something. 很天真 is it 很天真 so naive Trudeau comes here and want to bother me.
Too
Come
young.
on. Too simple
Too young.
and sometimes naive.
Unbelievable. I hope that's not what he said, but he could have.
Yeah.
And Tianjin. And Tianjin.
It does sound like it, if that's what it is. You see sometimes Chinese officials behaving this way. Right? Look, like it is a little bit reminiscent of when Jiang Zemin was lecturing the Hong Kong journalists.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. I wonder if this what came to Xi Jinping's mind, or this is what every president says when he's not
Maybe.
how things go.
Maybe, but yeah, that is very well known in China and out of China now.
Right. This is what Chinese secret police in America says when something goes wrong.
How
And
naive.
Tianjin.
Well,
All right. So what do you think?
Well, you mentioned
Yeah,
that they're supposed to have a hearing on Monday about what to do
Right.
with these two people. So,
So
let's
these
see what happens.
these two officers were released on bond yesterday, or was it 3 days ago?
Yeah, so
and so
somebody
they are
bailed them
supposed
out.
to-
Yeah.
They are supposed to show up on Monday. So we are curious if it's going to happen. So either it will be the court or Beijing airport when they show up.
Right. So we'll see where they end up. But, I'm curious what
Yeah.
kind of a precedent this will set, but I think it does seem to hint at the fact that countries are sort of running out of patience with China in regards to doing these things on
All right.
the soil
Yeah,
of other
yeah, yeah.
countries.
Yeah. It's obvious. Yeah. They are tired. I think they are tired with them.
Yeah.
And it's not going anywhere. It's getting worse. It's getting worse. Year to year, it's getting worse. So they just ran out of patience. I remember like 15 years ago, not even 12 years ago when, I don't know, Angela Merkel came to China and she was talking about human rights. And now this time is over. Nobody is talking about any human rights, and China is doing much worse
Right.
than 12 years ago. So I think that the the West just ran out of patience.
It
That's
does
what
it does
is,
seem
right?
to look like that a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, and they don't know how to talk with them. And even the Chinese say, okay, we have to slow down a little bit. We cannot be so pushy. It was working. It seemed it worked like 10 years ago or 8 years ago, but it doesn't work anymore. It doesn't work anymore.
I'm really curious what's going to come out of this. But the takeaway here is that you have got to stand up against this kind of behavior from China. And
Yeah, that's it.
yeah.
That's it.
If China doesn't do anything by themselves, then other countries will have to solve these matters one way or another.
Yes, exactly.
And the Chinese who are abroad, they should not be afraid to approach the authorities if they're getting harassed.
Yeah, it's true. True. Yeah, expose them. Yeah, gather some evidence and just go to the police station. Man, it's easy to say than to do, but
Yeah.
that's what I would do, I guess.
No, you have a point.
Anyway, so hopefully this is not the end. This is just the beginning of the end of all the overseas police service stations, secret service stations, illegal police stations.
So no more carabinieri on the Great Wall. What do you think? It seems like these days are long gone. Let's see what comes up in the near future.
Yeah, let's see. Yep. Let's follow up.
All right, let's do it. Well, take care, and I'll see you next time.
Yeah, see you next time, Tito.
See you. Bye.
Bye.